My girlfriend said, "I'll always be yours," but her search history showed flights for two. I didn't mean to snoop. I swear to you I didn't. But that morning, something inside me fell off. I was making breakfast, scrambled eggs and toast like I do every Saturday, and I could hear her in the bathroom, getting ready, the sound of the blow dryer buzzing through the walls. I noticed it a few times before, this nagging feeling that something was wrong. It wasn't anything major. Not at first. Just little things like her being a bit more distant, a few extra hours spent on her phone when we were watching TV. I didn't want to be paranoid. I really didn't. But my gut was telling me something wasn't right. So, when she stepped out of the room to get her coffee, her phone sitting on the kitchen counter, I picked it up. Just for a second, I told myself. I wasn't going to dig into her messages or anything like that. But I didn't have to. Her browser history was all I needed to see. The first thing that hit me was the flights. 2 tickets to Paris, leaving in a week. I don't know what I was expecting, but it sure as hell wasn't that. I stared at the screen, my mind doing its best to piece things together in some logical order, but nothing made sense. I had no idea who the second ticket was for, but I sure as hell knew it wasn't for me. I almost dropped the phone. My fingers were shaking, and I felt the blood drain from my face. I didn't want to believe it. I kept thinking, maybe there's a mistake. Maybe she's planning a surprise for me. But deep down, I knew it wasn't a mistake. It was real. I scrolled through more of the history and the dates, the confirmation numbers. They were all pointing to one thing. She was going to Paris. And I wasn't invited. I heard her footsteps in the hallway, and my heart started pounding in my chest. I didn't want her to come back and find me holding her phone. I quickly set it back down and tried to act normal. I took a deep breath, trying to shake off the panic rising in my throat, but it was no use. She came into the kitchen with a smile on her face, like nothing had changed. "Hey, babe, what's up?" she asked, reaching for the mug I'd set out for her. I couldn't speak. The words wouldn't come. All I could do was look at her, trying to hold it together. My chest felt tight, and I could feel my palms sweating. I wanted to ask her about the flights. I wanted to scream at her for lying to my face, for pretending everything was fine when she was clearly planning something behind my back. But instead, I just stood there, frozen, waiting for her to notice the shift in my expression. She glanced at me, then at my hands. "What's wrong?" I couldn't help it. I let out a shaky breath and said, "Who's the second flight for?" My voice cracked, and I hated it. I hated how weak I sounded. She blinked at me, and then her face faltered. "What are you talking about?" She walked over to the counter, casually picking up her phone, as if nothing was wrong. I didn't let her off the hook. "The flight, Rachel. The one to Paris. It's for 2 people. Who's the other person?" I could feel my heart racing now. My hands were clenched into fists, and I was trying to hold it together, trying to keep calm, but it wasn't working. She froze. Her eyes darted to the screen of her phone, and I saw the briefest flicker of panic in her eyes. She quickly turned away, like she was hoping I hadn't seen it. But I had. I had seen everything. I don't know what you're talking about," she said, her voice trembling slightly. She was already trying to backpedal, trying to put the walls up again, but I could see through it. I could see the guilt in her eyes, and I couldn't stand it. "Don't lie to me, Rachel," I said, feeling my stomach churn. "You're going to Paris, and you're not going with me. So, who's the other ticket for?" She put the phone down, her shoulders slumping. There was no fight left in her. I could feel the weight of the truth settling over us like a cloud. "Jake, I wasn't planning on telling you this way," she started, her voice shaky now. "I was going to tell you when I got back. I didn't know how to do this without hurting you." Her words hit me like a punch to the gut, and I staggered back, my mind scrambling to catch up. "How long, Rachel? How long has this been going on?" I barely recognized the voice that came out of me, low and raw. My chest felt like it was being crushed under the weight of everything I was hearing. She took a deep breath, looking down at her hands. "Jake, I didn't mean for this to happen. It's just, things have been different between us for a while now. I didn't know how to bring it up. And I met someone. It just happened." The words felt like acid in my throat. I didn't know how to process them. You're leaving me for someone else?" I asked, the question coming out like a whisper, too quiet to be real. It felt like I was outside my body, looking at myself, trying to figure out where this version of my life had come from. She didn't answer right away. She didn't need to. I could see it in her eyes. I could see the shame, the guilt, but I could also see something else, something that was harder to accept. She was looking at me like I was a chapter in her life she was ready to close. Like I was the past, and the future was with him. Rachel, my voice broke again. I thought we were happy. I thought you were happy. We've been together for 3 years. We've talked about getting a place together, about traveling, about everything. My heart was racing now, and my mind was on fire. I wanted to throw something, scream at her, but I stayed still, just standing there, feeling the shock of the reality sinking in. I know, she whispered, her eyes brimming with tears. I didn't want it to be like this, but I've been lying to you, and I know I've hurt you. I'm so sorry. Sorry. The word rang in my ears, but it felt hollow. She was sorry she got caught, but I knew that, deep down, she had already made her decision long before I saw the flight tickets. I didn't even know who this guy was. I didn't know anything anymore. I just knew that the woman I thought I knew, the woman I thought loved me, was no longer the same person. I felt like I was drowning. I couldn't breathe. I didn't know where to go from here. I think you should go, I said quietly, the words leaving my lips before I could stop them. It felt like my heart was shattering as I said it. But I couldn't look at her anymore. I couldn't stand to be in the same room as her, not like this. She opened her mouth to say something, but I didn't let her. I turned away, walking out of the kitchen, not knowing where to go or what to do. I just knew I couldn't stay there. Not in the place where I thought we were building a life together. Rachel stayed behind, and I didn't look back. I don't even know where I went after that. I don't know what happened the rest of the day. All I knew was that my world had been turned upside down, and for the first time, I didn't know who I was anymore. Part 2. I don't know how long I sat in the car after I left, parked at the side of the street, just staring out at nothing. My hands were trembling, still gripping the steering, like it was the only thing keeping me grounded. The house was empty now, and I felt empty too, like I had been hollowed out from the inside. Every inch of the apartment we had shared for the last 3 years felt like a lie. The familiar smell of her perfume, the photos on the walls, the little coffee mugs we used to joke about. It all felt like someone else's life. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go back there, but I couldn't stay in the car forever. I drove around aimlessly, not really caring where I went. Part of me wanted to scream. Part of me just wanted to disappear. But I couldn't make sense of the confusion, the hurt, the betrayal. I was still holding on to that moment in the kitchen when she'd said, I met someone. It just happened. Those words rang in my ears, and I couldn't stop hearing them, couldn't stop picturing her with him, whoever he was. Whoever had taken the place of the man she had promised to be with forever. I still didn't know who he was, and that bothered me more than anything. I wanted to know. I needed to know. I pulled up to a small bar I used to frequent when I needed to clear my head. I don't know why I came here. Maybe I was hoping for a distraction. Maybe I wanted someone else's voice to drown out the quiet in my own mind. The bartender, a guy named Mark who knew me well enough to give me the nod, poured me a whiskey without asking, as if he could already tell what I needed. I didn't touch it right away. I just sat there, staring at the glass. I wanted to hate Rachel. I wanted to be angry, to lash out. But the truth was, I felt more betrayed than anything. Betrayed. It wasn't just about the guy she was seeing. It wasn't even just about the trip to Paris. It was everything. The lies, the years of promises, the future we had talked about building together. I thought we had something solid, something real. But the minute she met someone else, I became the invisible man in her life. It was a punch to the gut, the kind of blow you don't even see coming until it knocks the wind out of you. I took a long sip from the glass, letting the burn of the alcohol soothe my raw throat for a second. It didn't fix anything. It didn't make me feel better. But it gave me something to hold on to, something real, even if just for a few minutes. I stared down at my phone for a while, her messages still sitting there, unanswered. She had sent me 5 texts since I left the apartment, all variations of please, Jake, don't shut me out, I'm so sorry, I didn't want to hurt you, and the one that hit hardest. I love you. I never stopped loving you. But I need to do this for me. I thought about answering her. I thought about telling her how much she had hurt me, how much it felt like my world had been ripped apart. I wanted to scream at her. but I knew that wasn't going to solve anything. I loved her, too. I still did in some broken, twisted way. But love wasn't enough anymore. Not when she had already moved on. Not when I was the last person on her mind. The door to the bar opened, and I heard a familiar voice behind me. "Jake, is that you?" I turned around to see my friend, Dave, walking in. He was the kind of guy who didn't mince words and knew how to make me laugh when I needed it. He had been there for me through breakups before, but this time felt different. This wasn't the typical "man, I'm sorry to hear that" conversation. This felt heavier. He took one look at me, then sat down next to me at the bar, ordering a beer without even asking. "Want to talk about it?" he asked, the concern in his voice barely hidden behind his usual sarcasm. I didn't know how to start. I didn't know where to even begin, because saying it out loud made it real. "She's cheating on me, Dave," I said quietly, the words tasting foreign in my mouth. "She's leaving me for some guy. She's planning a future with him, and she lied to me about it." Dave took a long sip from his beer and nodded, not saying anything at first. He let the silence settle between us, which was exactly what I needed. There was nothing anyone could say that would make it feel better. But hearing someone acknowledge the mess I was in, that helped. "I don't even know who this guy is, man. She's taking him to Paris. She's been planning it for weeks." And I felt the words stumble out of me, and I swallowed hard, tried to steady my breathing. I thought I knew her. I thought we had something real. I thought I was enough. "You were enough, Jake," Dave said, his voice firm. "She wasn't. She's the one who decided to throw that all away." I let out a shaky breath and ran a hand through my hair. I don't even know what to do now. I don't know what I'm supposed to feel. I thought we had this future. I thought she was my person. I thought I was her person. Now I'm just the guy who didn't even get invited on the trip. I'm the one who got left behind. Dave took another sip of his beer and then turned toward me, his face serious. "Listen, you need to stop blaming yourself, man. This isn't about you. It's about her. Whatever she's looking for in that guy, it's not your fault. She's the one who checked out. You didn't do anything wrong. She made her choice. You just need to take a step back and let her live with it." The sting of his words didn't make me feel any better, but he was right. It wasn't about me. Not really. She had made her decision, and there was nothing I could do to change it. And that hurt more than anything. The knowledge that there was nothing I could say, nothing I could do, to make her choose me over him. But I wasn't going to beg her to stay. I wasn't going to plead for her to love me again. I wasn't going to be that guy. The alcohol was starting to kick in, and I felt a little less raw, but my mind was still racing. What now? What was I supposed to do with the rest of my life? I'd given so much to this relationship. I'd built my life around her. And now I was starting over from scratch with nothing but a broken heart and an empty apartment to show for it. I thought about going back to the apartment and packing my things. Maybe moving somewhere new, somewhere she wouldn't be able to reach. But I wasn't ready to do that yet. Not today. Today, I needed to sit here and process it all, one painful moment at a time. And that's exactly what I did. I stayed in the bar for hours, talking to Dave about everything and nothing. He didn't offer me any solutions. He didn't try to make me feel better. But sometimes that's all you need when everything in your life is turned upside down. Someone who's just there, not judging you, not trying to fix you, but just letting you be, letting you breathe. It wasn't the end. I wasn't sure if I'd ever truly be okay with what had happened. But I knew one thing for sure. I had to keep going. I had to find a way to move forward, no matter how hard it was. Rachel had her future, and I had mine. I just had to figure out what that looked like without her in it.